Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to HitScan, and we are going to be looking at the brand new PTR patch that just hit. That's right now it's past 1 AM in Stockholm and I was about to go to bed, but I guess not. I was almost in bed and now I'm not, so that's great. And what's also great is this practice range we're going to head into. And we have a bunch of different very interesting balance changes. Some of these are quite extreme, I would even say, compared to what we usually get. But I like to see that, so yeah, that's all good. Let's begin. First off, we have a certain, bowman, Hanzo. Damage reduced from 70 to 60 on his normal arrows, I believe. On the storm arrows, sorry. That's these right here. As you can see, you got this little F1 menu. Not everyone knows about this actually, but you can just press F1 on the here so you can see the storm arrows there, the E ability on PC, the next 5 hours. Fire instantly at reduced damage, and now it's even more reduced than it used to be. So yeah, we got 60 instead of 70 here. So that's a Hanzo nerf, which I feel like is well needed because this character is still broken. Great. Next, McCree. And you may notice something in the bottom left corner here. That's right, McCree now has 250 HP, and that change surprised me a lot because we really don't see them mess with the base health of characters that much at all, but we did this time, and yeah, I thought that was really interesting. On top of that, the recovery time has been increased from 0.42 to 0.5 for the Peacekeeper primary fire, so that's just a pistol. So as you can see, well, I can feel that. I was playing McCree actually just the other day because I'd been playing some Counter-Strike and I wanted to see what it felt like playing McCree after that, and I mean, yeah, I can feel that difference for sure. You can probably see that in the video as well, even if you don't play a lot of McCree. And what's more interesting about this, which is not related to necessarily the primary fire of the gun, but still the gun, is the Deadeye. So firing Deadeye no longer locks the player's aim. Now this is a little bit odd, but basically this is what this means.
It's high noon.
I can look back and he can dash behind me, and I can just swoop to the left and get this, like say a Genji dashes from here to over here. I can still get him. So if we want to do another Deadeye, I can show it to you maybe with some better example. It's a little bit hard in a non-real game, but the point is that when you're shooting, you're not locked into exactly what you're looking at, which means you can do the old 360 and yeah, get a Genji that's just dash behind you or something. So let's try this again. We're gonna lock onto this, and we're gonna start firing over here. Oh, didn't get it this time. Okay, whatever. You guys get the idea. It's 1 AM. Sorry, I'm just not gonna redo that yet another time. But either way, you guys get the point. You can spin around. So if you lock onto the Genji when you're here, he dashes behind you. You start shooting. You can spin around and still get him. So just a kind of quality of life thing that will still be the difference between getting some kills and not getting some kills. So pretty sick. The Edgelord himself, Reaper, also had a change to the Reaping. That is his passive. And yeah, as you can see, it's just the sort of lifesteal, dealing damage, heals you. And that was changed from, reduced actually, from 40% to 30% of damage dealt in healing. So yeah, you get just less from doing this now. Which I think is, I guess it's good to see and all. Reaper was pretty dang strong, especially in some skill tiers on the ladder, and I think this is a good change, but who knows, we'll see exactly what that does. Orisa, the big one, the cow, the beetle, the shielder, whatever you want to call this, this character has been, well, nerfed a bit. Damage reduced from 11 to 9 on the normal fusion driver primary fire. So pretty interesting that they messed with the damage more on this gun. I believe they messed with it in the past a little bit. Can't remember exactly the changes, but regardless, that's been changed. Also, the cooldown on Fortify has been increased from 8 to 10 seconds on this. You can see in the bottom right here. After this ticks away, 10 seconds there total. And we also had the halt, just the ball, the pull. The snare duration has been reduced from 1 to 0.65 seconds, so that's just the duration that you're kind of stuck being actually, like, I don't know, pulled or being affected by it. So the moment you're fully just snared has been reduced now. So yeah, from 1 second to 0.65. So pretty interesting. I don't think these are as extreme as maybe some of the previous changes. I mean, obviously the shield change was the biggest one, but they will still affect the character, and they should affect her position just at least a little bit. But yeah, I'm just interested in seeing exactly what it'll do, because we've seen changes being made to characters over and over and over, and they still just come out on top in some aspect, or maybe in all aspects sometimes as well. You know, Orisa Reinhardt is on top. Alright, Sigma. Range reduced from 22 to 20 meters on the primary fire, so that's not too much, but we should notice it just about. I mean, obviously you got a little bit of explosion as well. There you go. Just about see it. We're probably gonna go down here and we can see it a little bit better. We got it measured out over here, just floating over to this marker. So this is gonna be like dead on at that range. But if we stand at maybe about here, yeah, there you go. You can see at 22 we just do not quite reach, and then we can get a bit closer. There we go. Now we're starting to hit. So yeah, interesting, but not a change I expected. Chromatic Flux as well, the ultimate. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. We'll start with the accretion change because it's easy to show. Explosion damage has been reduced from 60 to 40. Accretion is the rock, so that's how much damage it does when it hits you, which I think is pretty good. Honestly, Sigma has been doing pretty well, especially in the higher tiers of play, not just on ladder, like just in general in terms of players that are very skilled at Overwatch and very skilled at Sigma will do very well with this character still. And I think a change like this is, yeah, I mean, it's needed. More nerfs for Sigma. I felt like it was coming, and here it is. And now we've got as well Chromatic Flux, which can now be interrupted before targets begin falling. Which probably for the better. It felt a little bit weird the way it worked when it first came out. I remember just people being a little bit surprised. And the impact slow duration has been reduced from 0.9 to 0.6, which I think is also pretty good, because after you hit the floor, you kind of wanted to get back into the action, but you were sort of locked into it. So I don't know how much we'll see it here, but we only have one bot. But starts moving a little bit faster, 0.3 seconds, so you're not really gonna see it. But you're gonna be able to feel it, and also killing Sigma when he's trying to do his ultimate there, you have a little bit of a better window, as he can now be interrupted before targets begin falling. So you can stun it, you can kill him, you can do a bunch of cool stuff like that. You can disable him. I assume you can just Sombra disable him as well during that time. So yeah, interesting stuff. Moving on to our final character that we have changes to, we have a Baptiste actually. The man himself, who's been a bit better defining recently, has gotten some changes. The Biotic Launcher primary fire, recovery time increased from 0.36 to 0.45. So this is just a little bit more of a pause in between each shot there, or each burst. So yeah, not too much, but you know, it'll probably affect his DPS at least. Well, it will affect his DPS obviously, but question is how much that really does, and it's still pretty easy to compensate for obviously. The secondary fire though, the heal explosion has been reduced from 60 to 50. Nothing. It doesn't really, like, I guess it's just the heal that it actually does, rather than, like, you know, a radius, but they didn't actually say healing, or yeah, it's a little bit odd wording on that one. But regardless, this should heal for a little bit less now. I don't know, 60 to 50. I guess they're just bringing down his overall HPS and DPS should do something. Question is if it's enough once again. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I am gonna go to bed. It's gonna be great, and thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully I won't fall asleep making a thumbnail. Okay, goodbye.